All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring the fascinating and frankly almost unbelievable science of how our beliefs actively shape our physical reality. We usually think of our minds and our bodies as two completely separate machines. But the data we're looking at today, it flips that idea entirely upside down. So here's the massive question. Can what you believe actually change your biology? Like literally alter your physical body? Well, we're going to answer that by looking at some seriously mind-bending physiological data. And we're starting with a totally bizarre medical anomaly documented by researchers over in Italy. Section 1. The true power of placebos. Dr. Fabrizio Benedetti and his colleagues studied a group of patients who are recovering from highly invasive thoracic surgery. Now, when that anesthesia wears off, the pain is intense, right? So the patients all receive the exact same dose of a powerful painkiller, morphine sulfate. But Dr. Benedetti made this tiny, subtle tweak to how this drug was delivered. Half the patients were given their dose of morphine by a doctor standing right there at their bedside. The other half? They received the exact same dose, but it was pumped invisibly into their system through an automated, pre-programmed IV. They had absolutely no idea the medicine was entering their veins at that exact moment. Now, you'd naturally think both groups would feel the exact same chemical relief, wouldn't you? It's the same drug. But the results were absolutely stunning. The patients who actually saw the doctor treating them felt significant pain relief. Meanwhile, the pump group, who received the exact same amount of morphine, experienced almost zero benefit. It's wild. The drug's chemical effectiveness was completely blunted, simply because they didn't know it was happening. And this brilliantly illustrates what the placebo effect really is. It isn't just magic, and it's definitely not a fake sugar pill. The placebo effect is a powerful, robust demonstration of our expectation to heal actively recruiting real physical healing properties inside the body. So what exactly is a mindset anyway? Well, it's quite literally a setting of the mind. It's a lens or a frame of mind that we use to view the world and simplify how we interpret things. We all use these lenses naturally, every single day. But as we're about to see, when we escalate the stakes here, these mindsets have drastic, very real consequences for our physical health. Moving on to Section 2, changing the exercise mindset. Because if expectations can literally alter the effects of powerful painkillers, researchers at Harvard started wondering, wait, could a mindset also alter the physical, biological benefits of exercise? To test this out, they tracked 84 hotel housekeepers across the U.S. Now, these women are busting their backs on their feet all day long, lifting mattresses, scrubbing, bending, and burning an extraordinary amount of calories. Yet, when the researchers asked them, 2/3 of them claimed they didn't exercise at all. They simply didn't view their exhausting daily labor through the lens of a workout. So the researchers decided to intervene with half the group. And it was incredibly simple. They just gave them a 15-minute presentation explaining that their daily work actually easily satisfies the Surgeon General's requirement for moderate physical activity. They basically told them, hey, expect the health benefits of a rigorous workout just by doing your normal job. Fast forward 4 weeks, and the results were just astounding. The control group, zero change. But the group who got that brief 15-minute presentation, without changing their behavior, without working a single bit harder, and definitely without joining a gym, they experienced a literal biological cascade. They dropped weight, their systolic blood pressure went down, and they dropped body fat. Just by changing their mental lens, their bodies chemically responded to the exercise they were already doing. Which brings us to Section 3, the milkshake metabolic mystery. Now, I know exactly what you might be thinking. Come on, did those hotel maids just secretly put a little more oomph into making the beds? To completely rule out behavior, researchers at Yale went looking for a direct, immediate connection between our thoughts and our internal organs. They literally paid people $75 to come to a lab and drink milkshakes while hooked up to an IV. Not a bad gig, right? They did this to measure a specific gut peptide called ghrelin, which is basically the hunger hormone. When you haven't eaten, ghrelin levels rise, which slows down your metabolism. But when you devour a huge meal, those levels plummet, signaling your brain to stop eating and massively speeding up your metabolism to burn off all that food. So the participants were given 2 very different milkshake experiences, a week apart. 1 week, they got the Sensi Shake. This was marketed as a guilt-free, 0% fat, 140-calorie drink with absolutely zero added sugar. The next week, they were handed the Indulgent Shake, which was this decadent monster packed with 620 calories, 30 grams of fat, and 56 grams of sugar. And the metabolic response was exactly what any nutritionist would predict. The sensible shake caused just a tiny drop in ghrelin. The body basically went, okay, light snack, got it. But the indulgent shake? That caused a ghrelin drop 3 times steeper, signaling the body to massively fire up its metabolism to handle that heavy calorie load. But, guys, here is the ultimate twist. The researchers totally tricked them. They gave the participants the exact same beverage at both time points. I'm serious, the physical makeup, the calories, the nutrients, they were absolutely identical. This leads us to a seriously profound realization. What we believe, what we expect, and what we think about the foods we eat literally determines our body's response. That dramatic shift in their autonomous metabolism wasn't caused by the calories going in. It was caused entirely by the participants' belief about what they were consuming. Their minds were basically dictating to their digestive tracts how to process the food. Let's pivot to section 4, reframing our stress. We're going to see how all of this builds into a challenge we all deal with every single day: psychological stress. We are constantly told that stress is just completely toxic. But is our physical reaction to stress a fixed reality, or could it just be another mindset? Following the 2008 financial collapse, researchers studied about 300 overworked employees who were facing 10% workforce layoffs. Talk about an incredibly high-stress environment, right? They showed these employees one of 2 3-minute factual videos about stress. One video framed stress as debilitating and harmful. The other framed stress as enhancing, literally explaining it as a biological tool that actually improves performance and resilience. The results over the following weeks were staggering. The folks who watched the video framing stress as enhancing didn't just feel better emotionally, their actual physical health changed. They reported significantly fewer negative symptoms like backaches, a lot less muscle tension, and reduced insomnia. And on top of that, their engagement and performance at work skyrocketed. Just 3 minutes of reframing completely altered how their bodies physically processed corporate anxiety. Which brings us to section 5, reclaim your mindset power. So here's the absolute crucial takeaway today. Now, don't get this wrong. Medicine works, exercise is vital, and diet heavily impacts your health. Absolutely. But their psychological and physiological effects are not static. They are constantly being influenced, amplified, or muted by your mindset. And this idea applies absolutely everywhere. Incredible scholars are proving this across multiple fields. You've got Carol Dweck showing how shifting our mindset about intelligence alters our professional success. You've got Becca Levy's data proving that viewing aging as a process of gaining wisdom actually physically extends our longevity. And Ted Kaptchuk is literally revolutionizing clinical practice by ethically harnessing the placebo effect. The context changes, but the core truth remains exactly the same. Which leaves us with a final provocative question for you. Which of your mindsets will you change today? Because the real task ahead is to start reclaiming this remarkable biological power for ourselves. Just like snapping your fingers, you have the profound ability to reframe your physical reality. The science absolutely backs it up. So, what lens are you going to choose to view your world through today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.